TRNAD53 is a cutscene file from the original Final Fantasy VII, a map at the North Cave where Sapphire Weapon sleeps, Sephiroth waits, and Aeris' theme plays. Discovered early on in leaks of cut content, TRNAD53 has garnered all kinds of wild theories over the years. In this video, I want to dig into the data and uncover the truth. I've been into the FF modding scene for a while, but FF7 has always fascinated me. It's a weird game in some ways, halfway between the classic 16-bit era and the modern cinematic era. Its development process was turbulent. Originally, Final Fantasy VII was going to be a SNES game about a New York detective chasing an elusive man, but this somehow transmuted into the PS1 classic about cyberpunk mercenary Cloud Strife chasing Sephiroth through Midgar and beyond. TRNAD53 also has had a turbulent history of rumours and fan theories. Was it an early version of where Cloud gives Sephiroth the Black Materia? Was it an early script where Aeris dies at the North Cave? It was known Aeris has post-death dialogue files that come just before North Cave. And, of course, there were always some fans who figured it had something to do with bringing Aeris back to life. We can access TRNAD53 through the debug room, but we can't do much. Cloud isn't properly placed on the walk mesh. Fix the transition and you can see that the mesh is kinda broken. It has some weird curvature and you can even walk off the map completely. But if we add a scene script to pan the camera, we can see much more detail. At the bottom is Sapphire Weapon, who you'll recognise from Junon. At the top is Sephiroth's pod, where his torso ended up after Nibelheim. The tree isn't documented as far as I know, but magic trees show up all the time in Final Fantasies, like Exdeath in 5, or the Ether Tree in 9. Sephiroth's name comes from Kabbalah, and Kabbalah features a tree of life, the source of all creation. Dating the map is imprecise, but the music can help us. You see, every map embeds its own version of any music it uses, along with character models and other assets. This means everything can be loaded in one seek of the CD-ROM, reducing latency. These music files, stored in a format called ACAU, each start with a timestamp. TRNAD53 embeds one music file, Aeris ACAU, and its timestamp is December 18th, 1996, 22:45 PM. That's just 6 weeks before the Japanese release date. The other data in the map tells us it loads character models for the Black Materia scene, and a dummied out script which plays the subsequent FMVs, ending with Tifa waking up in Junon. This makes pretty clear that the file is just a version of the ordinary Black Materia scene, TRNAD51, and it doesn't load any models for Aeris or Sephiroth. So we can rule out the common fan theories, but we're still stuck saying what the file is really for. The debug room gives us some clues. See this menu in Black BG5? It plays the free TRNAD files, followed by Black BGD. That's a special file that sets up and loads the disk transition scene, Black BGB. On the JORG release of Final Fantasy VII, that file has some unused text translating to, "Please change the disk." This seems to confirm the theory that 7 was originally planned for 2 discs. There's no need to list the disc number if there's just 2 discs. I think originally TRNAD53 was going to be the transition point. That's why it's in this debug menu. And it's also why it would be used to test early versions of the disk transition code. I'm not clear exactly when the disk transition was moved, but it must have been earlier than December 1996. TRNAD53 references Disc 2 FMVs, it must have still had some use. Aeris' theme looks spooky at first glance, but I suspect it's there for a fairly mundane reason. Nobuo Uematsu likes to begin with his character themes, and Aeris would have been available as a placeholder song long before the final OST was ready. It's effectively just a placeholder sad song for a placeholder sad scene. As to what killed TRNAD53, take a look at these FMVs. These are the videos that play around the Black Materia scene. The first thing you'll notice is how one includes the TRNAD53 background. The other thing is that the names are the wrong way around. For some reason, C-Scene 2 comes after C-Scene 3. My guess is that the files were chopped and changed quite heavily in the final stages of editing. I suspect that TRNAD53 was a victim of this process. One thing FF7 tries really hard to do is blend FMVs into and out of gameplay seamlessly, rather than do hard camera cuts. Once TRNAD53's background was used in the middle of a video, not the start or end, it could no longer transition that way. I suspect at this point the team decided to finalise TRNAD51 instead. But consider the music timestamp, December 18th, 22:45 PM. If my interpretation is correct, this was still being figured out as late as Christmas 1996, and team members were working late into the night to get ready for launch. The end of FF7 clearly involves some serious crunch. There's a dev account I read a while back that said the majority of 7's dev time was spent figuring out the new technology. That left them relatively little time for the data or content. And it's well known from development of the PC port that Square's dev process ended in abject chaos. So, alas, TRNAD53 isn't evidence you can bring Aeris back to life, or of a plot rewrite from where she was supposed to die in the North Cave. What it is, however, is a relic of FF7 as a video project. Final Fantasy VII was a big budget title with ambitions of grand, cinematic storytelling. It began with Square abandoning Nintendo for a console that could play video. It ended with furious editing to make that cinematography come to life. What we got became a classic, but it came at the cost of serious crunch. A quarter century later, that much about the gaming industry seems the same.